Holyfield's rise to fame has been nothing short of legendary, but it wasn't all smooth sailing. Despite earning $230 million in his career, he lost it all. Yet, his story isn't just about success. It's also about loss, struggle, and the fight to keep going. Holyfield's journey began in the crime-ridden Bowen housing projects of Atlanta, where he was raised by a single mother. His family moved there for work, and at just 8 years old, he met a youth coach who changed his life. The coach, an older man, told him, "You could be like Muhammad Ali." Holyfield didn't understand it at the time, but took the message to heart. He started boxing and quickly made a name for himself in the amateur ranks. By 1984, he joined the U.S. Olympic boxing team, widely considered the greatest in American history. Holyfield dominated in the ring, knocking out every opponent. But during the semifinals at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, things took an unexpected turn. Holyfield knocked out his opponent, but the referee ruled it happened after a break and disqualified him. The International Olympic Committee later admitted the unfairness of the decision and awarded Holyfield a bronze medal, even though many thought it was one of the greatest Olympic injustices. Despite this setback, Holyfield pushed forward with his career. He made a strong debut in the professional ring, impressing everyone with his knockout power and boxing skills. His popularity soared, and soon, he was considered one of the best in the game. But with fame came trouble. He had to deal with shady promoters and managers who didn't have his best interests at heart. Even though things were getting tough off the ring, Holyfield remained focused on his career. He was ready for his chance at a title shot. As Holyfield continued to rise, he demonstrated an incredible mix of skill, determination, and power. He wasn't just relying on brute strength. His boxing ability was something to admire. His patience and strategy in the ring helped him win battles, whether it was through knockout or a technical decision. He showed that you don't always need to knock someone out. You just need to outbox them. In one of his fights, against Shashanda Moody, Holyfield's technical skill was on full display. Moody, known for being tough, couldn't hold up against Holyfield's relentless attack. Holyfield knocked him down in the third round, and the referee ended the fight early, signaling that Moody wasn't going to make it. This victory brought him closer to his title shot. Off the ring, Holyfield was a family man. He lived with his wife Paulette and their 2 kids, Evander Jr. and Ashley. But his life wasn't without struggles. Despite being a man of faith, Holyfield faced personal issues, including infidelity, which played a role in his financial troubles. He had 11 children with 6 different women, a part of his story that caused him to lose much of his wealth. One mistake can sometimes cost you everything. In the ring, though, Holyfield was unstoppable. His movements were fluid, his punches fast and powerful. He seemed to never tire, always in motion, constantly ready for the next move. The public was amazed by his ability to keep going, fight after fight, refusing to quit. Holyfield's next big opportunity came when he fought for his first world title. It was a chance to become the first Olympian to earn a world title in the pro boxing world. Was he ready? He'd already proven himself in the ring, and now it was time to face his biggest challenge yet. In his first world title fight against Dwight Muhammad Qawi, Holyfield showed what he was made of. Known for his aggressive punching style, Qawi was a tough opponent, but Holyfield was up for the fight. It turned into an all-out war, and despite taking plenty of hits, Holyfield kept coming back. In the end, he earned a split decision victory, his first world title. That fight was one of the toughest of Holyfield's career. He took hits, but he kept his composure and stuck to his game plan. Afterward, Holyfield admitted that it was the hardest fight he had ever been in, but he'd won, and that victory would set the stage for an even bigger future. Evander Holyfield had less experience compared to some others, but he still managed to go 15 rounds in a remarkable fight. During that intense match, Holyfield threw over 1,200 punches in 15 rounds. Yes, you heard that right, 1,200 punches. What a performance. That effort earned him his first professional title. Holyfield's career seemed to get more impressive with each fight. Throughout the match, we often heard commentators like Al and Alex refer back to the fight where he won the title. That happened last year on July 12th at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. He won the title from Dwight Muhammad Qawi. It was a tough journey, but one that helped shape him into the fighter he is. He turned professional in November of 1984, making his debut in New York. It took him less than 2 years to win a title, which is incredible. Now, as we turn to Alex Wallow, it's interesting to note that there were 9 gold medalists, 1 silver medalist, and 1 bronze medalist for the U.S. at the Los Angeles Olympics. The man who won the bronze medal, Evander Holyfield, went on to win the first title. Even though he's now a champion, Alex believes Holyfield still hasn't reached his full potential. This was only his 14th professional fight, and with more experience, he's bound to improve even more. Winning that title will likely boost his confidence, which is something that helps many fighters as they grow in their careers. Holyfield then faced his former Olympic teammate, Henry Tillman. Holyfield dominated the fight, knocking Tillman down 4 times. He remained undefeated with 14 straight wins, finishing the fight by technical knockout in the 7th round at 143. After that, people started speculating about Holyfield moving up to the heavyweight division, but his focus was on dominating the cruiserweight division first. Holyfield was one of the pioneers when it came to incorporating weightlifting into boxing training. He and his team understood the importance of lifting weights in a way that wouldn't affect his speed or endurance. Through smart training and a mix of free weights and specially designed machines, they managed to help him gain weight, pushing him from 190 pounds to 202 pounds while keeping his quickness. His training became cutting edge, using 21st century methods that transformed him into a stronger, sharper fighter. Coach Tim Hallmark took a futuristic approach to preparing him, working with new techniques and equipment that many boxers hadn't even considered. With each goal achieved, Holyfield and his team would set their sights on the next one, always striving to improve. At this point, Evander Holyfield was the WBA junior heavyweight champion, while Ricky Parkey held the IBF cruiserweight title. Holyfield faced Parkey in a match that gave him the chance to capture his 2nd title, and with each punch, Holyfield showed why he was a force to be reckoned with, landing powerful lefts and rights that made an impact. That's it. Evander Holyfield has stopped Ricky Parkey in round 3, so applause. The thunderous knockout had secured Holyfield the IBF cruiserweight title. I did want to just take Ozzy Ocasio and take him very seriously. Then afterwards, looking forward that tough fight against Mike Tyson, or whoever might be there at that time. Holyfield and Mike Tyson were on a collision course that seemed inevitable. Holyfield kept doing his part. You get the feeling opacity certainly doesn't want any more, only feels zeroing, and knowing this could end right now. Music. Evander Holyfield retains his WBA junior heavyweight IBF cruiserweight crowns and sets up a second match with Dwight Muhammad Qawi. And here we go, round 1. It is scheduled for 15. This is for the IBF Cruiserweight Championship grade, at number 1 by the WPA, number 3 according to the IBF, a 2-time former world champ who says he has only one goal: to regain the title. Music. How he can only get frustrated with this kind of fighting. Applause. A wild mystery goes down again. It's all over. Getting up. He's over. It's over. He cannot get up. He stayed, looked at the doctor right in the face, shook his head. And that was the end of that Holyfield, and a knockout as his fame grew. So did his fortune. He built an enormous mansion and acquired a litany of 4. For Evander Holyfield had his sights set on greatness, and it all started with his rise in the cruiserweight division. With his eyes on becoming the first ever undisputed cruiserweight champion, Holyfield needed just one more belt to make history, and he didn't disappoint. In a thrilling performance, he unleashed a relentless attack, dominating his opponent and capturing the 3rd and final cruiserweight title. The fight was stopped, and Holyfield was crowned the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. With an impressive record of 18-0, including 14 knockouts, Holyfield had achieved something no one else had done before: unifying the cruiserweight division. But Holyfield wasn't done. After conquering the cruiserweights, he set his sights on an even bigger challenge: the heavyweight division. Moving up in weight class was no small feat, and Holyfield knew he had to prove he belonged among the giants. His first heavyweight fight was against James "Quick" Tillis, a tough opponent who had even given Mike Tyson a hard time in the ring. Holyfield, calm and focused, entered the fight with confidence. When asked if he felt different now that he was a heavyweight, Holyfield simply replied, "No, every fight is important." The fight against Tillis was a dominant display by Holyfield. He controlled the action, landing powerful shots and forcing Tillis to retreat. By the fourth round, the referee had seen enough and stopped the fight. Holyfield had made a statement in his heavyweight debut, but some critics still doubted his power and ability to compete with larger opponents. Holyfield, however, remained unfazed. He believed his speed, both in his hands and feet, would be the key to success in the heavyweight division. At 26 years old, he had already given up his Cruiserweight titles and was now fully focused on the ultimate prize, the heavyweight championship. His next challenge came in the form of Michael Dokes, a former WBA heavyweight champion. Many believed Dokes would be the one to end Holyfield's heavyweight dreams, but Holyfield had other plans. The fight against Dokes was a brutal back-and-forth battle. Dokes tried to use his size and strength to overwhelm Holyfield, but Holyfield's speed and determination proved too much. In a spectacular finish, Holyfield knocked Dokes out cold, sending a message to the entire division. The crowd erupted as Holyfield stood, victorious, proving once again that he was a force to be reckoned with. Holyfield continued to climb the ranks, taking on and defeating every opponent in his path. His knockout of Edelson Rodriguez in the second round silenced any doubts about his power. With each victory, Holyfield was inching closer to a showdown with Mike Tyson, the man many considered the most dangerous fighter in the world. But Holyfield wasn't content to wait. To further prove himself, he took on Alex Stewart, an undefeated knockout specialist with a record of 24-0. Stewart was a dangerous opponent, but Holyfield dismantled him in a brutal and one-sided fight. The referee stopped the bout due to a severe cut on Stewart's eye, and Holyfield emerged victorious once again. Just as Holyfield was preparing for his long-awaited fight with Tyson, the boxing world was turned upside down. In a shocking upset, James "Buster" Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in Japan, changing the landscape of the heavyweight division. With Tyson no longer holding the titles, Holyfield's path to the heavyweight championship became clearer. Holyfield's journey was far from over, but he had already proven himself as one of the most skilled and determined fighters in the sport. Whether it was his speed, power, or sheer will to win, Holyfield had earned his place among the elite. And as the boxing world watched, the stage was set for Holyfield to chase his ultimate dream, becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. The road to Mike Tyson was all about proving himself, and Holyfield did just that. He went out and destroyed every opponent in his path, leaving no doubt about his place in the heavyweight division. His knockout of Edelson Rodriguez in the second round was a clear message to anyone who doubted his power. Holyfield was cleaning out the division, and it was becoming harder and harder for promoter Don King to avoid making the Tyson-Holyfield fight happen. When asked about his rivals, Holyfield made it clear, everything was about Tyson. I wanted that fight. But before he could face Tyson, Holyfield took on one more challenge. Alex Stewart, an undefeated knockout specialist. Stewart was a dangerous opponent, but Holyfield handled him with ease, dismantling him in a brutal and one-sided fight. The referee stopped the bout due to a severe cut on Stewart's eye, and Holyfield once again proved why he deserved a shot at the heavyweight title. But then, in a stunning turn of events, James "Buster" Douglas shocked the world by knocking out Mike Tyson in Japan. With Tyson no longer holding the titles, Holyfield's path to the heavyweight championship became clear. The boxing world was buzzing with anticipation, and Holyfield was ready to seize his moment. Holyfield's journey was a testament to his skill, determination, and unwavering belief in himself. Whether it was his speed, power, or sheer will to win, Holyfield had earned his place among the greats. And as the boxing world watched, the stage was set for Holyfield to chase his ultimate dream, becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. The whole goal was to get him a shot at the heavyweight title. That was the mission of Project Omega. I told the Duvas when the bell rang for the first round of the Buster Douglas fight. Their project was done. Celebrities flooded the event. Charlie Sheen was there, and yes, it's worth sitting through a $1,000 fight. That's one of the perks of our job. When asked about the last time I took drugs, I admitted I probably took more than anyone could survive. Mel Gibson was also in the crowd, and his presence brought back memories of that era of excess. Say what you want about Mel Gibson, but the guy knows how to make an entrance. And look, there's O.J. Simpson. These were the toughest guys on the planet, the kind who could take down anyone. And Bill Cosby? What a lineup. Evander Holyfield received a roaring welcome from the crowd. He was there to take the heavyweight championship from James Buster Douglas. The fight was quick and explosive. Holyfield landed a brutal counter right, and just like that, it was over. The crowd erupted as Evander, the real deal, Holyfield, became the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He returned to Atlanta as a hero, greeted by a massive parade and screaming fans. Take 4? You bet I would. Holyfield even became the face of Burger King's Breakfast Buddy sandwich. And who could forget the Miller Lite ads? It's Miller time. Holyfield had his moment in the spotlight, and he made it count. When I take that belt, it's going right here, he said, pointing to his waist. Meanwhile, George Foreman, who had demolished Joe Frazier to claim the world title 17 years earlier, was staging an incredible comeback. Now bald, he had racked up 22 victories and was gunning for another shot at the title. It wasn't long before a super fight between Holyfield and Foreman was in the works, a match that would become the biggest payday in heavyweight history at the time. George famously said, "I may be old, I may be fat, but here I is." The fight pitted the 28-year-old Holyfield against the 42-year-old Foreman. Many critics dismissed it as a farce, but within a few rounds, no one was laughing. Foreman, the old warrior, hung in there. He took a beating but kept coming, round after round. Holyfield landed clean shots, but Foreman's power was always a threat. He was slow, but one punch could change everything. The first round went to Foreman, and he surprised everyone by holding his own. By round 6 of the scheduled 12-round bout, any notion that this was just a spectacle was gone. Holyfield unleashed a flurry of punches, but Foreman proved he was no joke. In the end, Holyfield won on points, but Foreman walked away with respect. The dream fight between Mike Tyson and Holyfield was finally set to happen. It was supposed to be the biggest financial payoff in boxing history, but it also became one of the most controversial. Before the fight could take place, Tyson was arrested and sent to prison. In the meantime, Holyfield faced Riddick Bowe, a young American heavyweight and Olympic silver medalist. Holyfield wasn't known for his defense. He took hits, and so did Bowe. The fight was a back-and-forth battle, with Holyfield landing his signature right-hand lead. But Bowe eventually won by decision, setting up a savage rematch. The rematch was unforgettable. In one of the craziest moments in boxing history, a man parachuted into the ring mid-fight, delaying the match for 20 minutes. When the fight resumed, Holyfield came out swinging, landing powerful combinations. He won the rematch and reclaimed the title, solidifying his legacy. Next up was Michael Moorer. Holyfield started strong, but tragedy struck. Mid-fight, Holyfield suffered a heart attack. Though he didn't know it at the time, he kept fighting, standing toe-to-toe with Moorer and never going down. The story after the fight wasn't about his loss. It was about his heart. Literally, doctors diagnosed him with a cardiac condition, but after a long recovery, he returned to the ring. During his absence, Mike Tyson had returned from prison and reclaimed 2 of the 3 heavyweight belts. But Holyfield wasn't done. He believed in himself and his ability to overcome. When the long-awaited fight between Tyson and Holyfield finally happened, Tyson wasn't the same fighter he'd been before prison. Holyfield dominated the ring, bullying Tyson and reclaiming the title. He joined Muhammad Ali as one of only 2 men to win the heavyweight title 3 times. A quick rematch was scheduled in Vegas 6, and it became infamous for the ear-biting incident. Tyson, frustrated and dazed, bit Holyfield's ear, causing chaos. Tyson's actions made headlines, but Holyfield's resilience shone through. The final chapter of Holyfield's career saw him face Lennox Lewis. Lewis controlled the fight with his jab, keeping Holyfield at bay. Round after round, Lewis was the aggressor, and Holyfield struggled to close the distance. In the end, Lewis emerged victorious, but Holyfield's legacy as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time was secure. Don't forget to check out my epic Mike Tyson documentary on this channel. Hit subscribe, click the bell, and dive into more boxing history. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. This is the story of Evander Holyfield, the undisputed champion. Applause. The fight was supposed to be a crowning moment for Lennox Lewis, a definitive victory over another legendary name. Since Bob Fitzsimmons in 1897, no British citizen had held the undisputed heavyweight title. We were minutes away from what could have been a historic moment. But instead, the judges scored it 115 to 113 in favor of Evander Holyfield, with one judge calling it a draw. Both champions kept their belts, and the boxing world erupted in outrage. It was a travesty, a robbery, and fans everywhere felt Lennox Lewis had been stripped of the undisputed heavyweight championship he rightfully earned. Let's break it down like an autopsy, searching for clues to this crime, not the fight of the century. Did anyone check the British judge who scored it a draw for traces of Don King's influence? Lennox threw 348 punches. Holyfield threw just 130. Should the American judge who scored it for Holyfield be arrested, or at least banned from boxing forever? Days after the fight at Madison Square Garden, the media firestorm continued. The decision left a heavyweight title split between the two fighters, and fans demanded a rematch. And so, the rematch was set. Once again, the undisputed heavyweight championship was on the line. All right, fans, here we go. The rematch we've all been waiting for, live from Las Vegas. The atmosphere was electric as the two legends stepped into the ring. Holyfield was a warrior, but on this night, he was no match for Lennox Lewis. Lewis dominated with his jab, sticking it in Holyfield's face repeatedly. Holyfield struggled to close the distance, and every time he tried, Lewis met him with brutal uppercuts. Lewis controlled the fight, landing clean shots and keeping Holyfield on the defensive. In the final rounds, Lewis unleashed a flurry of punches, and Holyfield simply couldn't respond. When the final bell rang, there was no doubt. Lennox Lewis was crowned the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. The crowd erupted in applause as Lewis raised his arms in victory. Holyfield, though defeated, remained a warrior. His career was defined by his iron will, technical skill, and willingness to face any challenge. He was a brutal brawler with limitless heart, earning him the nickname The Real Deal. From his days as the greatest cruiserweight ever to his legendary battles in the heavyweight division, Holyfield left an indelible mark on boxing. Applause, Evander Holyfield, The Real Deal. A champion who brought it home like no other. His legacy is one of resilience, courage, and an unshakable belief in himself. And that's what made him a true legend of the sport.